Hey guys, hope you're keeping well. So I've recently sat down with Rich Moss of Stone Broken. We spoke about the band's brand new album, Revelations, which is out next Friday, the 15th of April. The production of that album, the progression in sound from the previous two albums that the guys have done, the upcoming tour, which is later this month with alongside Fallen State and Mason Hill. Make sure you grab your tickets to that. The closest date to us, or to myself, I should say, is Norwich at the Waterfront. So make sure you grab your tickets. It's going to be a great gig. They always have a killer support lock, and it's always an absolute stormer of a night. So don't miss those guys out on the road. Speaking of the road, they'll also be playing at some festivals, including Heretic Fest and Stone Dead Festival. And you can hear everything that Rich and I had to chat about right now. And we're joined by Rich of Stone Break. And how you keeping, pal?
I'm not too bad. How are you?
Yeah, good, mate. All good. So as we were talking off air, obviously, 15th of April, you guys will be releasing the new album Revelation. Obviously, from what I've heard of, the two singles you released off of it, sounds like a proper progression from your first two albums. Is that a sort of conscious decision to do, or was it just something that came about naturally?
It was definitely a conscious choice to kind of reimagine everything that we'd done previously. I guess we always wanted to step up the production, the songwriting, the sound, and everything. And we sort of went into this knowing that it was going to be tough to do that. Like we never wanted to change who we are, as in Stone Broken. What we wanted to do was evolve the sound and take that to the next level. And that was the hardest thing to do because we didn't know what that next level was until we started trying it. So it was definitely something that we went into the studio knowing that we wanted to do, and we had the help of our producer Dan Weller, who he really guided us through, helped us craft our sound.
Had you worked with Dan before then, or was it just like a?
This is the first time that we've worked with Dan. I was actually introduced to Dan by our record label. That they introduced us, and we got on really well. He came to Warsaw to hear. To come and have a chat with us, which that's you got serious guts to go to Warsaw. I think I think anyone. So it was a good sign, and we chatted and we talked about the record, we talked about life, we talked about who we are, who he is, and we just connected. And I think having that kind of relationship going into the studio really helped because you could put ideas across and you could have that backwards and forwards with him. And I think that's how you achieve new things is by experimenting and by listening to other people's opinions. And that was super important because Dan in his own right is a songwriter.
That helps definitely.
Exactly. He's a songwriter, he's a producer, he's been in a band before. He knows everything. So he kind of understands it from every level. So he knows it from the band side, he knows it from the songwriting side. So it was really, really a good working relationship that we had with him, and that's what helped us craft the new sonic, the new sound, the new elements. So I think all of these things were important. But yeah, it was definitely we went into the studio knowing that we wanted to produce something that was a bigger, wider sound for Stone Broken.
I mean, this is it. It doesn't detract from what you guys have done previously. It doesn't sound like you've not gone a complete left field or anything.
No, exactly.
It seems like a blossoming, for want of a better term. It just seems like a more deep and more in-depth version of what you guys have done previously.
And that was the hardest thing to balance, really, was we never wanted to lose the integrity of Stone Broken. We are who we are, and we've built a fan base on doing what we do. And the core elements that we wanted to retain was riffs. We want those big riffs, we want the stomping drums, we want the big choruses, and that's kind of like you kind of look at that and you think, well, where's the space for anything else? And that's what Dan did. That's what he came in and he provided the space for that. I really don't think we could have done it on our own, especially not we'd still be in the studio now if it was just left to us.
I think that's it, though. Sometimes you need someone outside of the band as such to take that, who is that step further back, that can say, right, you need to try this or tweak that or whatever, to give you those other attributes and options that between the four of you guys, you might not have found on your own path, sort of thing. But
And that's exactly what it was, you know, and the speed at which that we could get ideas down as well was just incredible, because he came in sort of weeks before we were going into the studio.
Oh wow,
Um,
cool. So he had that sort of investment right off the
yeah,
bat.
yeah. So he would sit in the room that I'm sitting in right now,
Yeah.
with his computer, and we'd be going through demos, and he'd be critiquing and adding ideas in, and he was really, you know, sort of involved in the songwriting process, not
Oh, that's
just
really cool.
yeah. So it wasn't just in the studio, let's get in, let's record the stuff and let's get out. It was very much, he was very, very hands-on. And of course, with how session ended up with COVID dropping in the middle of it,
Yeah.
It really paid dividends, because we had to break in the middle of recording because of the whole COVID thing, and we kind of had to go our separate ways because of restrictions. But we all went away and started writing some more tracks. And then when we reconvened, we actually didn't go back into an actual. We went back into one recording studio to do a few things, but then the rest of it was done right here at our studio in Warsaw. He bought his studio to us basically.
Wow.
And we finished the record here.
So where's he based then, Dan?
He's based in London.
Oh, right, okay. So,
So,
London boy, you got a London boy coming up north, mate.
I know. This one saying he was brave to even come to Warsaw in the first place. Not many people were brave Warsaw.
So when you were working on stuff, was it just like yourself and Robin and Dan, or was like everyone involved and Dan sort of thing?
Everyone was involved. It was we were effectively a 5-piece during this, because, you know, Dan was constantly he was either at the end of an email or at the end of the phone whilst we were writing, and then in the latter stages he was actually here and present. But we all kind of really mucked in with this record to get it to where it needed to be.
It does sound like from, I mean, obviously I've only heard the two singles that you released, Black Sunrise and obviously title track, but it does sound like you guys are all, for and about everyone's firing 110%, if you know what I mean. There's no, so there's certain albums you hear and you feel like there's certain bits and pieces that maybe they're not quite as committed, but it does real feel like you guys are really, whether that was because, you know, COVID came back and you guys couldn't do anything for a little while and you came back fighting or what, I don't know, but.
Yeah, I think, I mean, there was a lot of emotions on this record, and I think it had been a while since we'd been in the studio, because we'd done a lot of touring and stuff like that. So we were ready to get back at writing some new songs and get some new material, so we can carry on playing, you know, new material at shows and stuff. So everyone kind of had the hunger for it, but I think it turned into a much bigger beast than we thought it was going to, because of the way that it ended up shaping up. But everyone absolutely 100% stepped up to the plate, which is a great thing, and it's also quite a rare thing to get 4 people like, you know, headstrong straight in, and you know, firing on all cylinders, like you say. It was a really good time for us, I think, to take this step into almost an unknown, because, you know, we are trying to push ourselves.
Yeah, of course.
And I mean, I'm not saying that it was easy. It was frustrating some days. There was some
I think
days,
all bands, when they get to that third record, though, it's always the tricky third record, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. And that's always in the back of your mind, you know. There's I've been in so many interviews where they're saying, okay, you've done album 1 and 2 now, so now it's a third, so, you know, it's always tricky. I'm like, don't say that.
But equally, it tends to be the album that makes or breaks them. You think of, you know, bands like Bon Jovi, Slippery When Wet was their third record, Toys in the Attic, Nickelback, Silver Side Up was their third album, I think so third. Yeah, you know, it seems to be that you know, that line in the sand, so to speak, of right where you finally found where you guys want to be. It definitely sounds like it, man. It really does.
I'm hoping so. I mean, like I say, it was a bit of a brave step to take, but we wanted to do it. This is what we've always wanted to do. We've always wanted to push the boundaries of what we can do and deliver something that, you know, we're really proud of, and we're super proud of every record that we've done.
Of course, you wouldn't have made them if you weren't proud of them.
Exactly. And we've had some of our best moments were because of the previous 2 records, and we just need to kind of make new memories now with this third record. And you know, I'm super proud, and I can't wait to get out and play them live now. It's been mad, innit?
Yeah, it's been crazy. It's nice to have live music back, man. I was at Planet Rock Winners End Festival last weekend,
Okay, awesome.
and it was just nice to be back. And there was some friends that I hadn't seen since before the pandemic kicked off
Yeah,
because they're over the end of the country to me or whatever. But yeah, like you say, it's good to have live music back, dude. It really
yeah,
is.
yeah. It
And
is.
obviously, you're going on tour next month in support of the album as well.
We are. Yes.
So you
It's.
can't.
I mean, it's just been a crazy old time, isn't it? No one's known how to deal with a pandemic, especially not in any form of entertainment industry. Where it all effectively shuts down for an untold amount of time. We couldn't predict it. I mean, this tour's been rescheduled. This is the third lot of dates.
I say I
We've
can't remember if it was the third or fourth when I was.
Is the third, yeah. Which is like I've had a lot of people say, "Oh, so when's the tour start?" And I'm going through. I'm like, oh, was it the 20? No, that was back in January. So it's one of those I can't keep track in my head of the actual specific dates, just because they've been rescheduled that many times, and it's something that we've had the odd show that we've had to cancel. We had the Beast from the East rip through one of our tours. We had to cancel
All
the
right.
hometown show. And reschedule it for later on, but we've never had to shift the whole tour three times. Sorry, it's just been crazy.
I mean, it was bad enough. I mean, I as well as doing this, I'm part of the production team for Stone Dead Festival, so I'll see you when you guys play that.
Awesome.
I also run my own festival, Just Push Play, and it was bad enough having to delay. I mean, Chris is involved in the delays of Stone Dead. It's not the side of it I get involved in. Fact, I was stressed enough rearranging Just Push Play, to be honest.
Yeah,
But,
yeah. I mean, I think the whole industry has felt it. There's promoters and booking agents who have had to keep booking tours that are not happening effectively. Just to because you don't know if it might happen. And then there's obviously it comes down to the artists themselves and their crew that they have. It's just been it's been crazy.
Yes, man. But like you say, you're on tour next month, and what I'm liking once again, I'll be at the Norwich date on the show. I'm coming down.
Oh, amazing!
So I'll see you down there, dude.
Awesome.
But what I like about when you guys, you always have a fucking killer set of support. Last time I saw you guys, you had Crows and Holostars out.
Yeah.
This time you got Mason Hill and Fallen State.
Yeah.
It's going to be a great night, man.
I mean, that's again, like we always handpick the bands that we have come and support us, and we go off of the mentality of we want people to walk through the door and be entertained straight away by a brilliant band.
Yeah.
And if you come to one of our shows and you turn up early, you can guarantee that you're going to pretty much like the band that's playing. And that's the great thing about it. I mean, it's value for money, isn't it? We want to give everyone a brilliant night, and it's as much about the run up to our set as it is our set.
There's nothing worse as a gig going than when you're sat there going, when's the headline act on? There's nothing worse.
Exactly.
To me, exactly. I've ever been to, like you say, it's the whole show from the opener all the way through.
And that's what we've always tried to do with our live shows. Ever since we had the flexibility of being able to choose bands that play shows with us, we've always tried to secure the best lineup possible. And our team do a great job of doing that. So
yeah. Well, the first time I've discovered actually going to see you, man. And like the first time I saw Jared James Nichols was with you. So someone I'm now a huge fan of, and and
that's amazing. That's what it's all about, isn't it? That's what, especially the rock music scene. That's how people get discovered. We cut our teeth supporting bands.
Well, first time I saw you guys was at Rambling Man on the Rising stage. That was the first time I saw you guys.
Yeah.
And that's why I've the thing I've always done. If no one's, I mean, Rambling Man was always good for that because the Rising stage always opened up earlier than the main stage anyway. But
sure,
if there was someone I wasn't too bothered by on the main stage, it's a case of get a beer and go see what's on the Rising stage because, like you say, it's how you discover great acts. And then the following year, you guys are on the main stage itself. So
I know that was nuts, wasn't it? I was literally scrolling through my phone earlier today, and I saw photos of that exact thing. And I was like, wow, that's amazing.
That must have been pretty mental for you guys to go over there. One year has been the Rising stage, and then the next day, obviously following year around, you're on the main stage itself.
Yeah, no, I mean that was our first big stage that we ever played. I remember we had like wireless guitar packs that were absolutely fine in like 300 cap venues, and as soon as I come onto the stage at Rambling Man, I had no guitar sound. I was like, oh no! So I had to run and grab a cable, which was, you know, it was embarrassing, but the show went on. It was all good.
That's the main thing, man. Like you say, the show went on. That's
exactly.
Like you say, obviously, you're also playing at Stone Dead Festival. I know we're all right for that set, man. It's gonna be a good one.
Yeah, well, me and Robin,
because you were there the other year, weren't you?
Yeah. We came along last year. We were invited by Chris to hang out for the day. Oh, cool. And we did. It was brilliant, and the weather was great. And
it was glorious last year.
It really was. And we had obviously friends that were around there. We got to catch up with a load of people that we hadn't seen because of the pandemic. It was brilliant, and we're super looking forward to playing it this year. You know, we've heard a lot about it, and I think Chris has actually been in touch with us every single year to play, and and now we finally the calendar just works this year.
Well, those things that sometimes the calendar, I know, like from bands I've tried to book, sometimes as much as both parties want to be involved, it's just, you know, like say the calendar doesn't line up.
Yeah, and this year it does. Which is cool because, like I say, we've heard a lot of good things about it. And I actually remember I'm in a Donington veterans Facebook.
Oh yeah, I'm on that. Yeah,
and I remember basically it was its inception. There was like a few guys who were talking about it. The next thing I know, it was a thing. So
yeah, I remember the same post, and then I think it was a couple of months after they started setting up because I came in from like a website kind of point of view.
Sure.
Put that thing up. In fact, I contacted them because it was the first year I moved Just Push Play. It started off because, giving you a quick background, I set up in memory of my dad who I lost to cancer, and it was mates bands in a pub basically is what it was for the local hospice who looked after him. And in 2018, I decided we go big or go home basically, and let's see how far I can push it. I was fortunate enough that year. Wolfjaw, or as then they were the Bad Flowers headline, to manage to get the guys to headline. So we had that going on, and I actually got in contact with the Stone Dead guys to say, look, I'm trying to boost this. You've done amazingly. Like, how did you do it? And then it was Chris who came back to me, and me and him started chatting. And then he was like, mate, I've just seen your background and website and stuff. Are you up for doing us? So I was like, yeah, man. And the first year I said to him, look, all I did the first year really was website stuff. And I said, look, I'm going to be there on the day, man. So if you need another hand with anything, you know, I've got experience through my own show. So if you need a hand or anything. And then, 6 weeks before the show, he rings me up and goes, are you still coming? I was like, yeah, man, I'm coming up. He said, I've just realized, realistically, I can't run front of house and back of house on my own. And I went, right, okay, yeah, probably not. And he went, you're used to looking after bands at your gig. Went, yeah. Can you look after everything backstage for me? Like, yeah, okay. So, you know, fine, I'll do. But it's a good gang of people, and it's an honor to be a part of it, mate.
Well, that's it. We went backstage when we were there, and like you say, everyone seems friendly, everyone seems up for it, and it seems like everyone knows what they're doing as well. That's half the battle when you play a festival. You know, if things run on time and are run efficiently, it makes everyone's job easy, doesn't it? You know,
it does. I mean, like all of us, we didn't know each other personally. It was people, you know, we'd met sort of online and like in the Don and Vets group for the core of the gang who set it all up in the first place. So the first year was like, we've never worked with each other before. Like, how is this going to be? But honestly, I mean, obviously year on year, we've got better and better and more slick and everything else because you do the more you do things. But even in the first year, man, it was just like like you say, everyone knew what they were doing. It just slotted into place so well. It was like
amazing
a gang to be part of, you know. And of course, you also headline Heretic Fest run by my good mate Hannah. So that's a storming weekend she's got set up for her.
It is. It's really good. And I mean, we were booked on that years ago. You know,
before Hannah's had to because I'm doing a takeover show to sort of promote Heretic Fest for her. And me and Hannah were chatting yesterday to do an interview of that. I thought she had to rearrange it 3 times. I didn't realize it was 4 times to rearrange it. Bless her.
It's been crazy, you know, but it's going to be cool. We've never played Heretic, and it's nice to go back to Corp to play. It's going to be awesome.
I've never been up to the Corp before, man. I'm looking forward to it. It looks like I've heard good things about the venue. Just for whatever reason, it's not just a venue I've ever been to before.
Yeah, I mean, we've played it probably 2 or 3 times, I want to say. And it's cool. It's a cool venue. It's you know, because it's got the multiple rooms. It's great for bands coming through the ranks. Do you know what I mean? You can go in the smaller rooms and then progress to the bigger rooms, and
that's a bit like Rock City. Then it's got the several.
Yeah. So it's, you know, it's a cool thing it's a cool venue to play. And like I say, we've done, I think, every room there over the years.
Well, like you say, you've already released Black Sunrise off the album and the title track. Oh, and those two, are there any songs in particular? Because you're obviously exploring in other dimensions, as it were. Is there any songs in particular looking forward to seeing people's reaction to? Anything a bit?
Yeah, I mean, I think that my favorite track off the record is The Devil You Know. And that's because the guitar sound on that song is just massive. We've got like layers of octafuzz guitars where it just sounds huge, and the bass is really fuzzy as well. And again, that's like a different dynamic, but we've tried that one out live. We played it at the Download Pilot Festival, and it went down really, really well. So I'm looking forward to seeing people's reactions, not only live but to the record version as well, because it sounds massive.
Yeah.
So
I was doing the Download Pilot, man.
It was good. It was crazy, actually, because 18 months of not playing a show and then playing Download, it's just one extreme to the other. Like before I went on stage, my anxiety levels were sky high, which
I can imagine.
But it's not normal for me. Like usually I'll have, like, you know, the adrenaline running before I hit stage, but really I'm okay. But that time I wouldn't say nervous wreck, but my anxiety levels were high.
Yeah.
But then you step foot on stage and you go out there in front of the crowd and you hear the crowd and it just feels normal again. So it was good. I mean, I don't think I'd want to take 18 months off and then play to 10,000 people again now, because it was just stress.
Bit of a shock to the system, I would think.
Exactly. That's it. Like I'll build myself up next time.
Just do like a mid 6,000 people first.
Yeah, that'll be fine. And then I'll work my way to the 10.
Work your way up. Now I did try and I couldn't get the time off the day job, unfortunately.
Yeah.
I had some friends that, like Neil, Stone Dead. He was up there and he said it was absolutely blinding. Like,
yeah, no, it was really good. And it was just one of those, like, because obviously we'd been wearing masks everywhere in daily life, you know, and because it was a pilot scheme, we sort of went there. We proved with tests and all that sort of stuff that we were COVID free, and then they were like, okay, yeah, take your mask off. I'm like, are you sure I can take my mask off? Because this feels a bit naughty. You know, but no, it was good, and it was good to see people backstage and hang out with some bands that, you know, we've come to know over the years, and just it was good to feel normal again. Like it's a strange one to sort of explain, really, because we've never had a pandemic before to this scale.
No.
You know, it was a really strange time for us, and since we started the band, we've lived on the road. That's what we do. We tour, we play shows, we play, you know, as much as we can, and to then not have that was just really strange. It's like having the rug pulled from underneath you. It's like, what's life? What do we do now? You know. So it was great to get back to it. It all came sort of flooding back in one day. You know, because you experienced everything. It wasn't just a live show; it was a festival. There was all your mates that you got to know over the past, you know, sort of like 5-10 years, were all there, and you could hang out. It was just, it was brilliant.
Yeah, I bet, man. I mean, it was mental enough. Just go, like, the first couple of shows I attended were ones that I was working at. It was Stone Dead, and it was my own show, Just Push Play. And then the next gig I went to where I wasn't. Well, actually, the first gig I went to after lockdown, it was a sitting down gig because it was supposed to be the weekend of everything being lifted up, and then they delayed it.
Yeah.
It was These Wicked Rivers in Wolfjaw.
Oh, okay.
And at the Derby, Hairy Dog and Derby, we went to.
Yeah.
And they still managed to do it as a sitting down gig, and it was just great. I said to my wife, Jo, like, she said, "You still want to go?" Like, I'm still going. Like we're still going. We were both agreed, like, it's been too long without live music. You know, we're still going. We'll get to see you know, we'll get to see Tom and Dale and Carl because obviously kept in touch with them after Just Push Play. And I'm obviously sadly with Tom, I'm really, really glad I went because that was the last time I saw him, bless him. But yeah, we went up and it was just a weird experience because I say I know the guys quite well, and it was like that thing of going, Dale and Carl and Tom are over there on the merch thing, and I'm going, can I go say hello?
Yeah.
Am I allowed to go? You know, these guys are my mates. Am I allowed to go? You know, and I know the guys in these Wicked Rivers quite well. We got them playing Just Push Play this year, and I got to know the boys quite well. And it was a great show, but I'm used to being. It was sitting down was weird.
I never experienced a sit down show. We never at that point, because we had this tour booked sort of like at the start of when COVID was a thing, and then it just kept getting rescheduled. We never had the kind of the sit down show or anything like that. We did a live stream one, which was strange. I'm not gonna lie.
How was that performing to a camera?
That's the strange thing is like you play a song and there's no kind of atmosphere after it. It just feels really alien, you know.
I can imagine.
There's nothing to kind of feed off of. You know, and I said to the guys, I was like, if this is how music's going to end up, I don't think I want to do this anymore. But you know, because that's what I mean. It's the connection, isn't it? It's the seeing people in front of you that are having a great time, and knowing that you're providing that entertainment for the night. You know, and then spotting someone in the crowd that's got a massive smile because they're just happy to be there. Yeah. That's what live music is, and that's what the connection with our fans is. But when you take that out of the equation, it's just a rehearsal, isn't it? You know, but apart from you got people watching at home.
You can't see them, so it might as well be a rehearsal.
Exactly. So you know, I mean, it was an experience, and we like I said, we didn't get to do any sit down type gigs, so I don't know what that was like, but I'm just glad that, you know, full fat kind of shows are back, you know.
God yeah. God yeah. Like, the first one I went to where I was like I wasn't working, I was just in the crowd. I was a partner, I was enjoying it. I went to go see the Wild Hearts.
Okay, yeah.
And I love the Wild Hearts. And was walking into the waterfront, and there was still that bit of my brain going, how do I act at a gig now?
Yeah.
Like normally I'm jumping up down, I'm enjoying myself, I'm saying it's a Wild Hearts gig, it's punk and roll, everyone's jumping up down, throwing their arms around each other and having a good time.
Yeah.
And I'm going, do I have to be sensible? Do I have to keep this 2 meter thing going on? And Crows were opening up for the Wild Hearts, so Crows came on and everybody was enjoying it, but relatively respectful during the quarries, for want of a better term.
Yeah.
And then the Wild Hearts came on, and just that sort of energy just came. And some bloke threw his arm around me and went, "Fucking hell, come on, man!" I was like, "All right."
Well, there we go. Yeah. There we go.
It started off. We're fine.
See, that's the other thing is that you know, people have spent 2 years not doing what they would usually do, so it's going to take a while for people to get back in that kind of mentality. Really, I even think now that some people's confidence isn't quite there yet.
I think so. I think you're right.
You know,
I think it's that thing. I mean, everyone's going to readjust, for want of a better term, back to wherever they feel most comfortable.
Yeah,
and everyone's got the right to enjoy a gig however they want to enjoy it. But yeah, I think it's going to take a while for people's confidence to come back.
Yeah,
I noticed it because when I did Just Push Play this year, or last year, sorry, it was literally like 2 or 3 weeks after everything kind of lifted. And I noticed there was a lot of people still pretty unsure, because by that point there was no masks and stuff like that. There were still people wearing masks because they felt comfortable doing it, and if absolutely, you know, do what makes you feel most safe and secure wherever you are. But I definitely noticed like a thing of people just not quite. Don't get me wrong, there's a lot of people. It was just a different experience because it was a different scenario compared to previous years when everyone, for want of a better term, we were all, you know, in the normal as we knew it then, and then there was just a different way. So I think you're just going to get that period where people maybe be a bit more reserved than they once were, and you're just going to get people doing what they do, what makes them comfortable, and that's absolutely their right.
That's it. Yeah, I just think it's just going to take a little bit of time. That's all, you know, and then we'll be back to actual normal when everyone's ready. You know. Yeah,
this is it. And but like I say, it's just good to having live music again, man.
For sure.
I'm really looking forward to seeing the shows next month, mate. I'm really.
Oh, brilliant! Good. So I'm looking forward to getting back out there. You know, it feels sort of like, so you know, the preparation that we would do for a tour. That is usually second nature to us, but we haven't prepared for a full tour for ages. So we're just trying to get all the motors running behind the scenes here, as well as obviously we're doing a lot of stuff for the album campaign as well at the same time. So it's all go at the minute here, which is great. Which is good. I'm
What's
tired.
the set looking like then? Is it Revelation album heavy, or are you doing a mix?
It's changed a lot because the tour was always going to happen before the album was coming out.
Did you had Phil X supporting previously?
We did. Yeah, we had Phil X and the Drills originally, but obviously now it comes sort of after the album is out, so we think we're going to put a couple more in. It's not going to be all Revelation. It's but I think we're probably going to do sort of 4, maybe 5. We're not sure. We want to get a good balance. It's the thing now is because it's their third record. It's like, which songs do you choose? Which ones do you drop? Which ones,
I imagine with you guys, obviously, like say you're your third album in now, I imagine it's hard to choose which ones you have to drop.
Yeah, exactly. And that's the kind of conversations that we're having. We've got a rough idea, but I'm pretty sure that we'll start doing set rehearsals over the next week or so, and we'll see what flows and what feels good and what feels like it's if there's anything missing, then we'll take a look at that. But yeah, our general feeling is that we want to do sort of like at least 4 of the new ones.
Give people a good taster of it.
Exactly. And if people listen to the record or buy the record on release, then they should be fairly familiar with them by the time that we get around to their town. So
there you go. They've got a couple of weeks to enjoy the record before they come see it, mate.
Exactly.
So are there any songs that you're really looking forward to playing live that you really want to, for want of a better term, crowbar into the set where we've got to do this one live?
Well, we've not actually played Revelation live yet.
Well, have we not?
No, we've not tried that one out live. We've done it live here. We did a live recording and video session here at our lockup studio, but we haven't actually played it in front of people yet. So I'm really looking forward to seeing how that turns out.
Oh, nice. I didn't realize you hadn't played that live. Yeah, I just assumed you had, I guess, with it being the title track. I think I just assumed that you had played it.
Yeah, no, we haven't. We've been kind of keeping that one in the locker for the tour, really. I think I'm pretty sure our management wanted us to play it at download, and we just said nope. We want to keep it. We want to keep it until the tour, and that's it's the Revelation tour. Yeah. So we want it to be that's where that song is kind of debuted live, and so that's one that I'm really looking forward to playing.
That's cool, man. So what, other than obviously the tour and the album release, what does the rest of the year hold out for you guys?
So obviously, like you say, record first and then tour, and then we go into festival season after that. So we've got some in the UK, we've got some in Europe, and then the back end of the year, it would be nice to get back out on the road again, whether it be supporting someone or whatever, and things like that you can't really control though, because you're at the hands of who's touring at the time and that sort of stuff. But aside from that, we're going to get back into the studio writing and see what comes next.
Oh, nice, man. So you've already got your eyes set on album number 4.
Oh yeah.
You worked hard enough and long enough for number 3, let's be honest.
Well, that's it. I mean, the thing that we wanted to do now, because it's been such an extended amount of time, that's no one's fault. Between the last record and this one, we just want to get that momentum back up now to have a constant cycle of write studio tour that we kind of want to do that. So we'll be getting straight back at it.
Good on you, man. Nice one. Looking forward to hearing what comes next.
Me too.
So one more thing before I let you go, dude. At the beginning of the interview, we're going to play Black Sunrise. But what song of yours would you like us to play at the end of the interview? And we'll sandwich it.
I think just because we've just mentioned it now, we'll wrap up with Revelation.
Perfect. All right. Cheers for that, Rich, man. Good to speak to you.
No worries. Thank you.